Hello, everybody. This is Sarah from Bay Area Wellness, and I am so excited to talk to you about our Empowering Gratitude Challenge. I have with me my good friend, Princella Stringer, and she is the curator of this challenge, and we are just taking it and kind of twerking it for our own use here. Notice how I sneak twerking into a sentence. So anyway, we are so excited. This is going to be a fun little interview. She's actually questioning me this time, so that's kind of fun. And I just wanted to let you guys know that this challenge really was a game changer for me. I hadn't thought a lot about some of these things in years and years and years. And I started, there's five sort of things for the challenge, 5 days that you, or 5 activities that you do over the course of 5 days. And in doing that, it really opened my eyes to a few different things. We'll talk a little bit about values, about memories, about the lessons that are ingrained in us as children. And this kind of got me thinking about some things I haven't thought about in a long time, right? And it was really, really interesting to me. And it sort of unleashed this whole different side of me, this gratitude and realizing where I've come from, and how important that is. And so I think that as you are struggling through your pain, struggling through health concerns, struggling through migraines and stress and all this stuff, especially in August, this is the best timing to do this, because as we're getting kids back to school, or even if you don't have children, it's still sort of a new beginning. It's like a second new year, that it is the fall. We are ready to ramp it up, and it's a really great way to kick things off. So this challenge got me talking to my parents and my husband and my sister, and just some really, it was a really great conversation starter. And I just really, really enjoyed it, and really helped me to sort of see things in a different light. So I'm so excited for you guys to check out this interview with us today, and also do this challenge. We're going to be starting this week. And so it's a really great way to kick off your sort of crazy August, September season. And so we are going to get started here. Priscilla, thank you so much for being with us. I so appreciate it.
I'm so glad you're here, and I'm really excited that you feel like it's a good challenge to introduce to your group. It's really exciting to me, so I'm glad you got so much benefit out of digging deeper. It is a wonderful exercise that I put myself through as well, so it's great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you for bringing it to me. This is wonderful.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. So I learned this challenge and did it with my group, as you know, you are a part of, and it really, the feedback was tremendous, and I knew it worked really good for me and helped me get aligned with my personal goals and how I envisioned my goals, and how I felt about myself, confidence, and mapping out that timeline of what the next thing is that I wanted to do and accomplish in my own life. So I knew it was impactful for me, but I'm so thankful that others felt that same energy from this, from digging back and looking at the past.
Yeah, it really is incredible.
Yeah. So I actually have some questions for you. I'm excited about this, to be able to ask you some questions about how digging a little bit deeper in the challenge and how you feel like it will fit your group. So why don't I kick us off with my first question?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about why you wanted to join my challenge from the start to begin with.
So I am one of those people, if you ask me what I've been up to, I will always, without a doubt, say, oh, just working, just busy and, working a lot and cutting grass. That's my answer to everything. And I really just kind of glaze through like the productivity and working and stuff like that. And it's difficult for me to slow down. And that's what I teach people to do. So it's sort of ironic. But I knew that I had to learn that from somebody else, because it's difficult for me to actually do that and to put that into practice. And the other thing is that when we're doing this, we were getting ready to do our bathroom remodel. August is a stressful time for everybody, and then sort of ramping up for the fall. I knew that it would be a good time to do this, and And so I just really wanted to kind of to get my head on straight before we head into this busy season and set my attitude for gratitude, right? I wanted to make sure that this gratitude is really important, and is in the forefront of my mind as we head through the fall. And so I also think that this is important, not just for me, it's important for everybody. And so I wanted to bring it to my group because a lot of the people in my community are either parents or grandparents. They're ramping up for school, and maybe they're not the one doing the shopping, but it's still a sort of a new beginning for everybody, and everybody has a busy September. I've never met a person who was like, yeah, well, September's kind of slow this year. It never is. There's so many things to do, and if we can set our attitude in a gracious light and be just more empowered to feel that, just to feel that gratitude, to feel thankful, to reset before that happens, I think that it helps everybody. And actually, funny story. So I've been kind of doing this, like trying to make a point to talk to my husband about like what good things happened today, what, like just be a little bit intentional about being more grateful at home. And it's been really, really interesting because we both sort of have a lot of stress at work and stuff like that. And so if we can, and I try to keep that away from our relationship, but when you both work at home, it just melts all together. And so I started like at 6 o'clock or whenever we got home, talking about being grateful and talking about good things and more being positive intentionally together as a couple. And it's been totally different in our home life, even as we're going through this bathroom remodel and even as we're ramping up for the fall and things like that. And so it really made a difference, not only for me as an individual, but for us as a family as well. And so I thought that everybody could benefit from that. And so that's why I wanted to bring this challenge specifically to my community this week, because this week is just such a great time to start out strong, start out on the right foot, and really put some perspective into the busyness of the fall.
Right. And I love how you really bring it in with the people you love and care about, because when you create that energy in your own home, it has to start somewhere, because we can so easily, like you just described, get so caught up in the busyness of the to-dos, and to intentionally incorporate that into life, which of course includes your husband. I mean, my husband and I do everything together as well. And well, we try. There's times that I need to do something for myself and some things are for both of us.
Right.
And this is an excellent incorporate in the family. I love it. I'm so thankful for that. My next question I have for you, what is it about gratitude and living a graceful life that appeals to you?
I think that I'm a naturally positive person, but I also tend to spiral downward as I get stressed out and as I get busy. And then it's difficult, I think, for me and for most people to pick yourself up and just get a different mindset. Oh, I'm just going to flip it around, and from this point forward, it's going to be a great day. That's really difficult for everybody, I think. And if it's good for you, if that's easy for you, I want to talk to you. Come give me a text message or something. But I think that it's just really important to set that off and make that a priority. And so I wanted to really be intentional about that, and just really remember, kind of just set that off in a good light and really make that a priority, I think.
Yeah, the more we have in our toolbox on how we can bring more gratitude and love and grace into our lives, the stronger really we become for ourselves and for others. And you made a really important distinction, which is the time when our small affirmations that we say either internally or externally can help flip the switch. But sometimes it just does not work. And what that usually means is that we need to just kind of pay attention to the feelings a little bit, show them a little love and respect, because they're there for a reason. And when we allow that space to allow the feelings to occur, and then say, okay, that's it. Sometimes it helps to give that timeline. Okay, you got 1 minute, sit in this for a minute, and then it's time to move on.
Yeah.
We need to do that. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I need to do that way more often than I do. And I think that's really powerful as well.
It is extremely powerful. When I started paying attention, to my feelings instead of um, not wanting to just sleep it off. Well, let's be real. I still want to sleep it off. I still want to cover it up with a funny TV show or something like that. But when they're still festering and lingering in there, it's so important to give them the acknowledgement and the respect, because it sounds strange to say it that way, but we really have to honor ourselves. I think we're really respecting and honoring ourselves when we allow us to feel the feelings we feel, because they're important.
Absolutely.
And then being able to
then that manifests as well. And that's what I find a lot of people, especially with the people who are in our Conquer the Pain program, it happens to be you have an issue, whether that's physical or emotional or mental or anything else, and then you don't address it, and then that becomes a huge blown out health crisis until you do address it. But if we're able to sort of flip the switch and prevent all that, or come at that health crisis from a place of gratitude, our healing is exponentially easier and shorter, and it just really, really changes that. And so, yeah, that's a really great point. Really great point.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. Okay. Let's see. What got you started on your gratitude journey?
So my mom got my husband and I Financial Peace University, which is Dave Ramsey's program. She got it for us for Christmas right before we got married. And I think that was her way of telling me to tone it down on the wedding planning. And so we didn't take the class that year. We took it the winter after we got married. And then from there got introduced to Christy Wright and the Business Boutique. And in the Business Boutique, we talk a lot about gratitude and a lot about coming at your business and your life and the projects that you're tackling, whether it's a project for your health or for your home or for anything else. You're trying to get out of debt from a place of gratitude and living in that every day. And so, and then I think from there, I got introduced to Rachel Hollis, and she talks a lot about gratitude and setting a daily gratitude practice, which I am working on. I'll be the first to admit I'm not very consistent with it. However, it has made the most tremendous difference in my mindset. And so I keep a little notebook in my coffee filter pack, right? You have like coffee filters, there's a little hole in there, and I have a little tiny notebook that I write 3 good things that happened yesterday every morning. And that does a couple of things for me. It starts out my morning with positivity and gratefulness. And then the other thing it does, and I'm all about the dopamine and serotonin in our brain, right? I just love studying that and learning more about that. And so it's sort of a happiness hack, because it releases the same amount of dopamine if you're remembering something versus if it's happening right now. So you get to double dip those good things that happened yesterday and start your morning out with that rush of dopamine and a little rush of coffee. There's no better way to start out the day. And it really, really just has made a tremendous difference in my mornings, in my mindset, in the way that I tackle the day and tackle life. And so I think that it all started with Dave. Thank you, Dave. Dave changed my life in so many ways. It's incredible. And so, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long ride, but it's been a heck of a good one. And I couldn't imagine what people who don't have a gratitude practice feel like. It has made such a difference. I don't think that I could go back to not doing that.
Yes. And let's not forget to give a shout out to your mom. Our moms are so intuitive what we need.
Right.
And and so I think it's beautiful that you both have that relationship where you can share those things, and that it's a benefit to everybody. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
incredible.
So what do you think it is that made such a huge difference in the way you view things? And why do you think, actually, I read my own question wrong. Why do you think it's made such a huge difference? And I think you tapped on it a little bit right now, but if you want to expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so I talk a little bit sometimes in my weekly videos about creating new connections in your brain, in that when you're walking through the woods the first time, it's kind of awkward, and it's kind of, you get stuck, and it's slow, and you get snagged on sticks and stuff. And the more that you do it, your path gets wider until it isn't a well-traveled path. And the connections that we have in our brain are the exact same way. The first time we do something, it's awkward and it's slow and you don't like it and you feel uncomfortable. But the more you do it, it becomes a well-traveled path. And so I think that as I have reinforced these habits, I now look for gratitude, for ways to be gracious. I look for good things. I look for bright spots. I look for the good things in my life constantly, because I know I'm going to have to pick 3 tomorrow morning. And so I might as well be on the lookout today, because it'll make my morning routine quicker. And so I'm always, always, always looking for those things. And then in that, that kind of segued into just having, just constantly looking for the positive things. And even if I don't write them down, because I kind of pick the best 3, and there's probably 300 good things that happened in the day. But I'm always scanning for those things. And they say, like, you'll always find what you're looking for. And if you're always looking for bright spots and opportunities to be grateful, it just is a really great way to live each day.
I absolutely love that, because it creates this energy and this mind space to look, as you said, exactly, to look and seek for it. And a life of seeking the goodness in every day versus just trampling through the mundane, the things that we have to do, but looking at the gratitude in that is just beautiful. It's a beautiful way to live. So I love that you're sharing. What surprised you the most about participating in my challenge?
So as I started thinking about my childhood memories, there were just a lot of things that came up, things about my grandparents that I haven't remembered, and they're still living and things, but, when you're little, they're much more active and things like that, just because they were younger. And so I was really, really active with family, and I grew up on a farm, so it takes a village, right? And when everybody's always with everybody, I just had such bright memories of my childhood. And I think that I remembered things that I forgot, in the lessons that you learned. And I remember like fighting with my sister, and my dad just saying, like, at some point you're going to have to stand up for yourself. And when I think about that, and I think about whether it's my sister, which, like, now we have a great relationship, we're best of friends. But when I think about feeling taken advantage of, or feeling like I'm getting beat up, or feeling like, somebody's always picking on me, I hear my dad say, at some point, you're just going to have to stand up for yourself, or the example that I use, the lesson that I learned in your challenge was that when you fall off a horse, you have to get back on, or else you'll never ride again, because you'll be so afraid to fall, and you've got to get back up there and show that horse who's boss. And so I think about how many times I did that, tears streaming down my face, and just repeating to myself, like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And that lesson and that kind of process throughout my childhood really, really was deeply ingrained in me. And I still do that today, whether I fall, like the other day I tripped on a shoe bringing in the groceries, and all my bags ripped. And it was like a country music song. Like, I just felt so pathetic. And I think, like, okay, first of all, you're dumb for leaving your shoes in the walkway. And second of all, get back up, clean up the mess, get back on the horse. You got to do it. So, so I think that it just really invoked some of those memories. And I started talking with my sister about that. and different things like that. And it was just a really, really great way to remember the past and remember where you came from and remember some of those childhood memories. And some of them were tough, you think about the hard times and what you learned through that as well.
Yeah.
And I think about that as well, but it just gives you such a different mindset, I think, in where you're coming and where you're going. And it was just really powerful to think about all those lessons I learned as a child.
Oh, awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. So now we get to your participants. The question I have for you is what is your hope for your participants in this challenge?
Yeah, so I think that some people are naturally more positive. They're more grateful. They look for those bright spots, and other people aren't. And it's just the way that we're made. And maybe it's our circumstances or the way that we were raised. But my hope is that everybody gets 10% more grateful. And so whether you started out at mostly grateful and this is just pushing you to to the most grateful ever, or whether you started out as a pessimist and this is just getting you a little bit more familiar with looking for those bright spots. My hope is that everybody who participates in this challenge gets something from it, and they feel a little bit of appreciation for their history, for their past, and they feel empowered to do whatever they want to do to get rid of their pain, to chase their dream, to start a new project, to remodel their bathroom, whatever it is. My hope is that everybody feels a little bit of the courage and just the thankfulness and appreciation for life out of the challenge this week.
Right. And as you were answering, I was thinking back on the previous question about what you got out of the challenge. And for many people thinking about the past, I want to revisit this because for many people in thinking about the past, it can be a trigger. It could be something very, very challenging, and all we think about are negative stories.
Yeah.
And I just want to caution that it's really important to kind of know yourself a little bit in that maybe you're not quite ready to think about the past stories. And the next question, if you're someone that kind of gets stuck in that and thinking about the negativity, the next question you should ask yourself is, yes, this happened and I'm not happy about it, but what did I learn out of it? And sometimes that will help our brains, as you talked about earlier, it'll help our brain to think of what is the positive that comes out of it. And once we start recognizing the power in asking ourselves, literally asking ourselves, what was the good thing that came out of this? What was the positive? What was the life lesson learned in this? Then our brain starts searching for that. And then it's up to us to decide to take that positive spin on a negative experience and use that as gratitude. We can also choose to stay stuck in the negativity, and that's where I want to caution people is to allow the process of gratitude and positivity to come up. It's also really important to recognize when you're stuck somewhere that then it may be a different course of action to get more a one-on-one counsel regarding that particular topic. But it's really important to note, because we don't want anybody getting stuck in negativity and not being able to take themselves to a place of gratitude. Sometimes we can do this on their own, and sometimes we need a little more support. And that's the way to go. Absolutely. We feel like we need more support. There's so many resources out there to get more support in that.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that you brought that up. And if you, to anybody who's doing this, if there's something that's too fresh, it's too hard, you don't have to think about that, right? You are not going to feel grateful for every single thing that happened in your life. We're not looking to sugarcoat things. What we're looking to do is in retrospect, there are good things that happen along with the bad. And I think that it's important to realize that it's okay to not, people, when bad things happen, people will come up to you and say, like, everything happens for a reason. And you're like, are you kidding me? That's the worst thing you can say right now. And I'm so, whatever the case is. And it's important to realize that you don't have to go there. that this challenge is not asking you to look at your deepest, hardest memory. It's asking you to find something good in the past 10 years or 20 years or whatever. And so if it's too fresh, if it's too new, if it's too painful, that's fine. You don't have to go there. And again, if you are looking to go there, if you want to go there, if you want to find those lessons, if you're looking for some help, I fully, fully, fully support that. But I'm not asking you to dig out your deepest, darkest memory. I certainly am not doing that. And I don't want to get people, right, I don't want this to come from a place of negativity, in that we're always looking for the light, and that some bad things just happen. And it's okay to not see the good that came out of every single situation, because there's just not sometimes. And that's okay too.
Yeah. And that is okay too. Yeah. But I really love challenging people to continue to ask the question in a positive light of yourself, and maybe it may take some sticky note reminders on my own phone. I'll put like a certain graphic that I need to put up on my phone as a reminder if there's something that I'm having a particularly tough time with, to remind me to look at the positive. Some of us can do as you did, and I've had both experiences too, and I'm sure you will as well, where some things are just tougher to see the light in, and some things are easier to say, oh yeah, that I can see the goodness that's coming out of that. And yeah, as we talked about earlier, we need to honor and respect ourselves and the feelings that we have, and then seeking the assistance to help take us to the next level. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So this has been really fun. That was the last question I had for you. And it's been really fun asking and digging deeper with you on your experience in my challenge. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how your participants feel about this challenge.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about it. As everybody kind of gets on board with this, make sure to go to the link below. I'll post it kind of everywhere this week so that you can sign up for this challenge. It will not take a ton of time. It's not a big time commitment. Don't feel like it's, I know that you're busy. I'm busy too. And so it's just going to be a really great way to sort of change your mindset. And I am really excited for this. And thank you so much, Princella, for being here with me today. This was so wonderful.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I look forward to hearing more about yours.
Sounds good. You guys have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.